Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the live broadcast for today. My name is Natalie Ledwell, and for those who have not been on a broadcast with me before, have not met me before, I'm actually the founder of the personal development company My Movies, and I'm also the best-selling author of the book Never in Your Wildest Dreams. So today I've got a very interesting topic to cover. We're going to talk about if there's an imbalance between your dreams for your life and the habits you have on a daily basis. So I'm actually going to be showing a very personal example of what I've just gone through myself to be able to reconcile the two of these together. So if you are here on the broadcast, please let me know that you're here. Say hi. Let me know where you're from so I can give you a little cheerio and say g'day and hello and say hi. Great. Lynette Butt, good to see you here, Lynette. Lynette is a very regular person coming here on the broadcast. It's great. Amy Olson from Wisconsin. Hi, Amy. Good to see you here. Christabel, glad to see you here as well, Christy. It's so awesome. Very, very happy to see you all here. So yes, like I said, so as you can see, I'm not in my usual spot. I am actually at the office in San Diego. I'm here with the team for the next couple of days, just to pop in and say hi and hang out with the guys. I try and get down here every other week. It doesn't always work out that way, but we do our best. I can see I've got Angel Doka from Newcastle. Newcastle in the UK, by the looks of things, not Newcastle in Australia. Ken Meakin from the UK. Hi, Ken. Christy is from SLC, Utah. Good to see you, Christy. Hi, Ron Murray. Good to see you here, Ron, as well. So this is a very interesting topic that we're going to be talking about today. And we're going to talk about how we can reconcile, or how we notice if there is an imbalance between our dreams and our habits. And so at the crux of this conversation today, what we're talking about is how do we become the person who's going to step into the vision or the dream or the reality that we want to create. Because, if we're really setting ourselves sights high to create something that's, outside of our normal realms, that's, it's really this extra level, then sometimes we have to reassess who we are and what our habits are so that we can then become the person or be the container for what's about to come. And like I said, I'm going to be talking about a very personal experience because I've been going through this myself at the moment. A few more before I say hellos before I go in there. Sharon Murray from Foster, from New South Wales. Hi Sharon. Vic is from Nevada. Good to see you here. Guy and Tomasic from Brisbane. Hi, how you going? Cheryl Commodore from the UK. Hi, we've got Bet Wilder. And I've got Nate Hassani. Love to you too. All right, so how do we know if there is an imbalance between our dreams and our habits, or how we're showing up? Well, often what will happen is that, we get this, and this is what happened to me, especially towards the end of my marriage. And some of you know, about 5 years ago, my husband and I ended our 18-year marriage. But luckily, we're still good friends. We're still business partners and everything's sweet. But I remember in that last year, I kept having this voice coming up for me going, "You're wasting time," which to me made no sense, because I'm like, wait, look at my movies and look at all the millions of people we're reaching, and I feel like I'm living my purpose and this is fantastic. So I didn't understand what that voice was until, I sort of, our marriage ended and I did a whole lot of work, and I was able to release a whole lot of the blaming and the habits and the behaviors that I had, so that I could then open up for, this next chapter for me to come through, which is my, my children's program. As a lot of you know, if you've been here on a regular broadcast, I'm creating a program called Personal Growth Studies. It's a curriculum for schools globally. So it's a class that can be taught in the classroom. And we've just finished, we've finished the 260 lessons. Have been such a huge, momentous achievement and accomplishment. So now we're stepping out into the world and approaching schools. So if I hadn't have listened to that voice and gone, well, why am I wasting time? What is it that I'm missing that I would never have been able to step into something like this? So really have a look at, are you feeling frustrated You know, do you feel like you're wasting time? Do you realize that do you have a feeling that there's a higher agenda for you, but you're not quite sure what that is? And so, you know, you're sort of in this, you know, grey, wishy-washy kind of area where you're kind of feeling frustrated, and you're starting to become quite judgmental of yourself. I become really hard on myself for every time I didn't step up or do something, and you know, and of course I was doing the blame game. You know, I was blaming everyone and everything around me for the fact that I wasn't happy, and I was really frustrated and very unhappy. And then, of course, you know, Glenn copped most of that. So when we broke up and I lost my scapegoat, I'm like, maybe I can't be blaming someone else. This has to be on me now. And this is when I started to do a shift. Okay, so this is if these things are coming up for you in your life, then I really encourage you to take the time to have a look at, you know, is there something more for you that you can do? And is there an incongruency between what it is that you want to achieve and the habits that you have? So when we want to fix something like this is what we want to look at. First of all, we need to figure out what the dream is. Sometimes that frustration comes from the fact that you know you're meant for something like a higher calling, but you don't know what it is. So I really highly recommend that you spend time each day just sitting with your thoughts, you know, doing some meditation. And I want to give a little shout out to a really good friend of mine. I was at the Transformational Leader Council last week. I was at the meeting in Montreal. And Guillermo Paz, who is a very good friend of mine, he lives in Puerto Rico, I did a process with him. And from that, now I've changed the way I do my meditations. So each morning before I sit in my meditation, so I always ask, you know, I always say, I am open, I am ready to receive, and I'm a vessel for your wisdom. And when I can sit in that and then go into my meditation, it's like I've opened the portal, and I've given permission for my guides or my angels or whoever it is that's guiding me from that other realm to, you know, give me the messages, so that I'm open to hearing the messages. You know, so if you're not quite sure what that is yet, but you feel like there's something more, I highly recommend that you do that. So what I say is, I am open, I am ready to receive, and I'm a vessel for your wisdom. So I say those three things, and then I go into my meditation. So once you kind of decide what that dream is, and then it's time to crystallize what that is. Okay, so for me, you know, I always recommend making a mind movie, obviously. And when I talk about making a mind movie, you know, I talk about 5 different types of affirmations. You want to describe what it is that you want. You want to describe what life looks like once you get there. And you want to describe, and obviously, your actions. Now, when I say actions, I don't mean get on the phone and make some phone calls. What I mean by that is, how are you changing your daily routine or your daily practice to be in alignment with the dream or the reality that you want to create? Okay, so for me, I had to, like, I, you know, meditate every day, I exercise, I do all of those kind of things. But for me to step into this next level, you know, to have the body or be able to hold the container for the education systems around the world, and for the children that we're about to help, and the generation that we're about to change with this program, you know, I need to change who I am. I need to really step into a bigger version of who I am. And part of that was getting really honest about losing some of the habits that I had. So as a result of that, like, I need to keep my energy clean. You know, I need to be able to be this vessel for the wisdom to come through. I need to tap into a source of energy that's not, you know, caffeine or really running my adrenals down. So I had to look at some of my personal habits. So I eat much cleaner these days, and I have a really good diet. Now, I'm not saying that I'm good 1,000% of the time, because I definitely am not. But the thing is, the majority of the time I'm eating something clean. You know, I had to look at, you know, things like the amount of alcohol that I was drinking. You know, I don't know if anyone follows me on Facebook, but as you can see, I have a very hectic social life. You know, I have a huge group of friends, and I love to socialize. And of course, being Australian, I have this persona to live up to about how we, you know, we're the party people and always like to have time. I had to be myself about that and go, okay, well, I can't, you know, be partying all the time and then being able to step into this. And so I had to make some, you know, really important decisions that were in alignment with this dream that I'm fulfilling. You So now it's, I'm behaving myself much more these days. I'm still having fun, but I'm doing it without, having to drink so much, which is great. And then looking at the daily habits, like I said, changing my meditations to be in alignment to receive the wisdom. All these little things, I recommend that you look at what your daily routine is. And if you don't have a daily routine, have a look at what you want to incorporate there. I have a knee problem. I'm sorting that out right now. So instead of all the exercise I used to do, I'm like, okay, well, what exercise can I do that's going to be in alignment with keeping up my health, but that's not going to ruin my knee? And so I'm looking at different things like that as well. So have a look at, your exercise, your education. I have taken on a personal coach so that I can, really help this stuff up in this bigger version. So look at all the things that you want to do that's going to change your habits. So when you're thinking about your actions, these are the actions that I'm talking about. Okay, the other thing that I talk about is a type of affirmation is your thought affirmations. Okay, so how do you need to change the way you think to step into this new version of you so that you can step into this next level of your life? So think about, how you change your perspective, how, honestly, sometimes I swing between, who do I think I am, thinking that I'm going to infiltrate the education systems around the world. Like, who am I to do that? But for me, it's like, I can't think that way. Yes, I feel it. I sit there for a second, but I don't stay there. I have to swing back out of it. And the thing is, my question is, well, why not me? Why not me? Knowing, what I bring to the table to this project, and the contacts and knowing how the law of attraction works, and knowing how to leverage the universe and the wisdom of the other realm. Why would it not be me? Okay, so think about these things and really change the way you think and look at those kind of things as well. And like I said, make a mind movie, even if you make a vision board, even if you write these down as affirmations, so that when you're doing a visualization or meditation every day, you can really sit and marinate in, seeing you operate from this new thought paradigm, seeing how this changes the way that you are, how people respond to you, the outcomes or the results that you create, because you're coming from these new thought paradigms, which I think is really important. Okay, so really have a look at that and get clear about what your dream is. And even if you don't know specifically, at least have the macro things, at least have the bigger things that For me, it's like, I want to change a generation. I want to work with schools. How that's going to show up, I don't know. But I'm open, and the last piece of the puzzle is just being able to surrender into knowing that if you're doing everything right, that the universe has your back and everything will come your way, and it's all going to be okay, and it will all work out. So that's the last piece of the puzzle. So let me say some more hellos while I'm here. We'll see. I've got Vladimir. Hi, Vladimir. How are you? What's this say? Vladimir, I should say. Actually, 20 minutes and we'll be Thursday. Okay. Christabel. I like smoking. Yes. You see, and here's the thing. I think what happens is that when we are stepping into this bigger version, and we have habits that we know aren't good for us, those habits start to really annoy us. We start to realize so much more, and we're so much more aware that it carries a completely different energy when we're still, having that drink or having that cigarette or eating that cake or whatever it is, like eating the sugar or what that is. So, once you realize it's like you've swallowed the red pill. You can't go back. You've got to keep moving forward. Gary Collins. Hi, Gary. Good to see you, darling. Amy. Let's see. Hi. Something's not playing. So inspiring. Oh, thank you, Sharon. Sharon Murray. Good to see you here, honey. It's fantastic. And, of course, the last thing when we talk about our thoughts, we also want to, really have a look at, those negative thoughts, those subconscious programming, the sabotaging thoughts that keep us from ever believing that we can do the outrageous, that we can be successful, that we can fulfill our dream, and nothing helps these things bubble to the surface more than when we're actually challenging them by moving towards our dream. So, as you're doing that, make sure that you're writing down all of those negative thoughts that come up for you and you know, and just go, right, I'm choosing not to believe these anymore, or to think these anymore. Choose the thoughts that you want. Make sure that you incorporate those in your meditations and your visualizations, so you can see the different results you get from those new, you know, powerful thoughts. Okay, let's see. We got Terry. Oh, sorry, Terry, I couldn't see where you're from. That's going too fast. Denise. Hi, Denise, waving there. Let's see. Do negative thoughts prevent weight loss? Do negative thoughts prevent weight loss? Well, what I do know is that when our thoughts are in alignment with the results that we want, then it can actually help us create the result that we want. And you know, when I was battling with my weight, I would be severely judging myself, severely judging everybody else outside of me as well. But that was the reflection of how I'm feeling about myself. You know, so having, you know, thinking about how do healthy people think? You know, what is their thought process? What is their relationship with food? You know, how do they, you know, think about exercise and so forth, and really start to choose the thoughts that you want to think that will be in alignment with the result that you want. Annette Francis, hi from London. Hi. So Sean, hello, big hello from Florida. Deborah McGrath, hi from Florida as well. It's fantastic. So, okay, guys, I'm getting towards the end of my thing here. Deanna Cortez, hi, from Michigan, I think it is. Good to see you here. Now, I know I was just talking about limiting beliefs and how it sabotages our success, those pesky bloody beliefs. And sometimes those you know, sabotaging thoughts can be cleverly disguised as common sense. You know, so it's really important that we start to really address these. Because if this is what's holding us back, it doesn't need to. Now, I know that my team are going to give you a little link here as well. You know, I have an amazing program that I think you'd really love if this is something that you find is happening for you. It's called the Limitless You program, and it's actually specifically designed to help, you know, eradicate these sabotaging thoughts. Now, the program is only $17, so it's quite inexpensive, and I know that you can knock it over in one weekend. And give you, and what it does is it gives you a system, you know, for life on how to deal with these sabotaging thoughts as they come up, so they can really help to eradicate them. So I encourage you to click on the link and take advantage of the $17 offer. That's been great for today. And that would be all for me today. So I will be back again on Friday, and I think we're going to try the 2:30 p.m. time slot next Friday. I'm not quite sure what I'm talking about, but if you have a suggestion of what you'd like me to talk about, just put that in the little comment box here, and we'll make sure that we grab something for you there. So thank you, everyone, for joining me today. It's been such a pleasure chatting to you all, and I look forward to chatting to you again on Friday. All right, everyone. Bye.